Some people claim that water can absorb intention and change its structure. Others say it's complete nonsense. There are resources out there that claim that water can change your life through a ritual. So I decided to test it for myself and do it for 30 days. Every night I had a glass of water and I spoke my affirmations and intentions into it, and then I drank it. Now, I first heard of these magical capabilities that water had a few years back when I was taking a self-development course, and they just gave us a tip. Make sure you bless the water that you're drinking because it holds power. And I became skeptical and I researched it. How did they even come up with such a claim? There's a Japanese author named Masaru Emoto. He became famous for claiming that music, human thoughts, intentions, and words can affect the molecular structure of water. He has some well-known experiments that include exposing water to music, prayers, negative and positive energy. He would then freeze the water and then look at the water through the microscope. And what he found out was that the water that he directed positive energy into changed into these beautiful symmetrical molecules, versus the one that received the negative energy. The molecules looked completely different. They were uneven and distorted and not nearly as beautiful as the positive energy ones. Then classical music created more harmonious patterns rather than aggressive music. Now, this idea became extremely popular in the spiritual and manifestation community. However, these experiments still remain to be controversial, as some scientists fail to recreate these results. Now, what was I expecting by doing this? I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting some sort of degree of results. Why? Because I know that if you do something for 30 days straight, if you say those positive affirmations to yourself and about yourself for 30 days, something is gonna start changing in your brain. Those things that you would be saying consciously, they will seep into your subconscious. And on the other hand, I was also very skeptical about what I was doing. I felt like it was just water. It might not do anything. So I started my 30 days. Every single night, I would repeat the same affirmations into the water. I would make sure that I turn on this energetic feeling and I direct this energy into the glass of water. Every single night I did the same thing. I sat at my desk, I drank a glass of water, I would light up a candle, and I said the same exact affirmations that I redirected into the glass with my energy. Let's talk about the first week. I romanticized this process. I would sit at my desk. I had a beautiful picture and a beautiful glass and a beautiful candle. Another thing that I did was I put on some relaxing music, and that would set the tone for those positive affirmations and energy to start flowing out of me. And I'll be honest, it felt very awkward to just say affirmations into a cup of water because we don't really take water as something conscious. But day by day, it started normalizing for me. By week 2, this became a pretty embedded ritual in my nightly life. The first thing that I noticed is I wasn't just directing this energy into the glass. It was sort of bouncing back at me, and when I was whispering those affirmations of love and self-love into the glass, I was feeling them, and maybe that's why I was also enjoying this ritual so much. This is when I thought, you know what, maybe this does work. And again, it's like the energy would bounce off the water and this calm feeling would wash over me. And when I finished saying the affirmations, I would drink the glass of water and it made me feel renewed. I don't know if it was placebo, but I did feel like it made a difference. And at this point, I still had doubts, but I kept going. Now, week 3 is pretty interesting because this is when I started to feel these affirmations transferring from that night 5 minutes into my daily life. For example, me affirming I was more confident, I started becoming more conscious of it. And it kind of, was there in the back of my head reminding me I am more confident. Every day I felt like my life was shifting because of this ritual. I felt like this is the time where my subconscious mind was starting to really receive those signals from my conscious mind. Now, week 4 is when I started catching myself thinking negative thoughts. When we usually think negative thoughts, we don't catch them because they're kind of just happening, it's automatic. But I started catching thoughts that weren't aligning with my affirmations. When I would start worrying about something or having anxiety, I would remember those affirmations and kind of remind myself, no, remember, you're more confident now. And I noticed that I was focusing more on what was going well instead of what wasn't working. By the end of the 30 days, I did feel more focused and more aware of the story I was telling myself. And honestly, that alone was worth the experiment. And I'm gonna say again, I don't know if it was actually the water or it was me who was changing my reality. All I know is by the end of this experiment, I was focusing more on what I wanted rather than on what wasn't working or what I didn't like. And now let's talk about the actual affirmations. No, I did not wish for $1 million. I wished for me being a confident public speaker and for me to love expressing myself around my friends and family. Because the truth is, back then I was quite closed off. I did affirm a couple of physical traits. I affirmed I have beautiful posture and long hair. I really wanted to have long hair at the time. Now, my posture changed drastically. I'm gonna insert a before and after picture here. And this is because I ended up doing posture exercises and my hair is not exactly touching the floor, but my hair is in completely different shape than it was back then. Mind you, I did this experiment 2 years ago, and I'm gonna insert a picture of what my hair used to look like versus what it looks like now on a day-to-day basis. That's because I changed my hair care routine completely. Now, my conclusion is I'm not exactly at the peak of my existence, but most of the things that I affirmed during that ritual came true or got exponentially better. And again, was it the water or was it just me? I have a more in-depth video about this fun ritual. If you want to check it out, you should click on this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.